Hey, Pastor, if you're facing growth challenges right now, you're trying to figure out how to scale, how to align your staff, and really how to get after the work that God's called you to do in that community, we would love to come alongside you. And I want you to know, we just opened up a brand new mastermind specifically for churches under 500. And if that's interesting to you, go to readysetgrow.church to find out more information and see if this is a fit for your journey right now. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Breaking 1000 podcast. I'm Mark Brewer, and I am your host today. I've got my friend, Hunter Wilson, my other friend, Scott Wilson, and we just wanted to say we're so excited about what God's been doing through this podcast. We're getting a lot of great feedback, so if you have not subscribed, do that and hit like, and feel free to share with your friends. You know, at the end of each podcast, we just say, hey, if you've got something that you'd like to tee up, we'd love to hit it if possible. And so one of the questions that came in recently, I think it's better if I just read it.
Yeah.
How do I handle a staff member who keeps getting caught up in gossip and sharing half-truths? They've only been in ministry for 4 years. I've talked to them multiple times, but nothing seems to be getting through. They don't understand what information shouldn't be or should be shared that they have. So, that's a big one.
Gossip,
Where do we start?
What do you think, Dad?
Well, I think the starting point is where I started the very first board meeting I had, staff meeting I had with our team when I became pastor. Let me tell you, I took a church that was over 80 years old. Mm-hmm. My dad was a pastor before. We had struggled during that time with people gossiping, with people coming out of board meetings or staff meetings saying, listen, I know we're doing this, but I didn't vote for that, or I wouldn't for that, stuff like this. And it just brought division, and there was silos, and there was division all the way through. And hey, listen, let me tell you something. Who wants to be a part of a church that has gossip going all over the place? New people come in, they go like, what is this? This is a dysfunctional family, weird, And so you've got to deal with it directly as what it is, sin. It is not a tolerated culture to have. We do not tolerate gossip. It is unbiblical. It is divisive. It is destructive. But you know why there's gossip many times? Number one, there's gossip because it's been allowed to be part of what happens. It is a natural flesh tendency that if I'm frustrated, I'm going to talk to somebody I think could give me a feeling of, I think so too.
Yeah, you're looking for some confirmation bias a lot of times in that.
Secondly, it's also a deal, which I think can happen and many times in churches is, I feel like things need to be different than what it is, but I don't have an invitation to talk about it.
Or I don't have a skill set to do that either. I mean, it's both and on that a lot of times.
I'm thinking that if I tell a staff member, if you have a question, if you have a problem, if you have a concern, if you're frustrated, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me or tell your direct report, whoever that
somebody
person is.
That can actually help you do something about it and be on the journey with you to solve.
Yeah, I love this line. I'm going to butcher it, so I don't quote me exactly, but Peter Drucker has this great line where he says, there's only 3 things that happen naturally in an organization: chaos, confusion, and underperformance. Everything else requires leadership.
I love it.
And it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
But basically what it is especially with older churches, is you have to fight for clarity and you have to fight for health. It's going to drift into unhealth if you're not intentional. And so one of the first things that you're doing is setting a rule, a standard of this is not tolerated.
We called it honesty policy.
Yeah.
So I literally took hours to try to bring it into a concise way to communicate it. And I put it in writing and I shared it with everyone. I think this is a biblical standard. Do you? You could go look at the scripture, but I think most people say gossip, not good, not okay, bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I did it this way. The honesty policy went, I will speak the truth in love to the last 10%, to the right person at the right time in the right way. We have zero tolerance on gossip. That was it.
Yeah.
Okay. In writing. And I would say, let's break it down. We speak the truth. Now that means even things that are hard to say, things that maybe we don't agree on, things that, but when we're saying truth is we're also seeking for truth. So what is truth? God, his word, what he says.
That's right.
Okay. And so I'm not talking about just my opinion versus your opinion.
It's not, the current culture has this idea of my truth. I need to speak my truth. Well, no, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about what is God's truth? What is ultimate truth here?
Yeah. So we're praying and saying we need to make a decision, and the pastor is saying, we've prayed, we've doing this. This is what we're going to do. You may not like it. So it isn't like you're coming in and saying, I need to share my truth. Well, you can.
That's perspective.
But that's perspective. That's how you feel about it. That's how you've got to then go die to your not truth, to your flesh. You have to die to, I don't want it this way. I don't like that they're cutting my budget. I don't like that we're having to change service times or add another service, whatever it is. But that's where I say, not my will, your will. And I come into alignment to what you're saying and doing. Okay.
So we're going to start with speak the truth.
Speak the truth in love. That's our motivation. The whole reason why I'm saying this is, hey, I love you. I care about you. I love you enough to tell you the truth, not to go talk to everybody else. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to do it with the motivation of, I'm coming to say I have a concern. I'm coming to say, I think I heard you say this, but that bothers me. Or could we talk about it?
I've often found that a lot of pastors and leaders, just people in general, have a hard time. They know they need to have a truth conversation with someone, but they have a hard time doing it because they don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff. But I always think about it. If I'm having a difficult time having this truth conversation with someone, it is because I have a lack in the level of my love. And the reason I think that is, what conversation is off limits for Jesus to have with me? There is no conversation. Why? Because of the level of his love. And if I'm having difficulty landing something, I always want to get back in the prayer closet and go, God, help me to love this person the way you love them so that I can begin to speak truthfully to them.
And I think when you have us write this out, and I'm going to keep breaking it down, we write it out and we talk about it. And then when we all sign it, then there's also, it's easier to say, I'm loving you in this conversation. And you say, yes, you are loving me and I'm loving you back in this conversation because we've agreed on my motivation is I'm for the Lord and I'm for you and I'm for this church. And so I'm doing this because of that. And so I'm inviting you to have the conversation. There's some people who we can say, I love you. Yeah, I love you. But don't talk to me about anything that's going to make me frustrated. You know, like there's a feeling like this. I love you, but I want you to stay at a distance. When we break that down, at least in writing and saying, I am choosing that, then it's easier to do, or it gives access. Okay. So I'm going to speak the truth in love. That's my motivation, not to be mean, not to cut people down, not to hit people or attack, but in love to the last 10%. That's the hard part to say. I'm saying, like, even the pastor who's writing this, if you've talked to them a lot and it didn't change, are you going to the last 10% to say, hey, you cannot say blah, blah, blah. When you say blah, blah, blah to these people, that's divisive, it's gossip, and it will not be tolerated.
I think what happens a lot is the soft play is you make it part of your opening icebreaker devotional thing for a staff meeting instead of having a one-on-one conversation.
Oh, so you're shotgun approaching, hoping that somehow they're going to get it.
Just so you guys know, we got to get better at like not telling things, or we're not going to do gossip around here, guys. And you might be looking at that person a little bit, but
or even not even soft play, but like I've had some experiences with pastors who went hard play. Let me tell you something, what we're not going to do around here. We're not going to gossip. Anybody in this table, if you gossip, I'm coming down like this. And then half the people in the room going, I am not gossiping.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I've done that where I've been in the room and that happened. I went up to the pastor that I worked for, which was my dad, and I said, what was that?
Are you talking to me?
I'm not talking about you, son. I said, then why did you spend 15 minutes telling us all, and we all feel like we did something wrong? When it's that person, go talk to that person.
100%.
And so I think that's a big point. Good job. I like that. Speak the truth in love to the last 10%, to the right person, the right time, the right way. Matthew 18:50 says, don't go tell a whole bunch of people, go to that person. If you win them over, you got it. Okay. So the whole point is to the right person in the right time. That means don't go talking to me about your problem you got right before I'm about to preach or right before I'm about to go into a meeting. Schedule something with me or talk to me at the right time and do it in the right way.
Make it meaningful enough that it has its own spot and it's not a pass by.
Yeah. And do it in an attitude of love that you're coming and doing it the right way. The zero tolerance on gossip is this. If we sign this document, and I'm telling you in meetings, I'm not just saying schedule it. In meetings, how many times have you seen me? Hundreds, thousands of times. However many times we've had
That's
a
how
meeting.
many meetings we've had, hundreds and thousands.
Yeah.
That
I go,
is true.
hey, is there honesty policy time? Anything we need to talk about? Anything we need to talk about?
We
And
just
I'll
did
go
it 3 days
individually
ago.
all the time, over and over. We do this because I want to clean up anything that's there and us to have clarity. And I'll look at the staff and the board and everybody involved over and over, and I'll say, now listen, remember, if we have this honesty policy and I'm telling you, I'm inviting you to talk to me about anything you have a concern about, question on, frustration on, then you have no business saying it to anyone else.
And that's not doing the same thing of a one-to-many doing like, hey, I'm really talking to one person. A lot of times if you're setting a new precedent or it's a new type of meeting with new players in the room or something, you have to set the standard because people aren't used to this.
Right.
So inside of this, you're really setting the culture piece of like, hey guys, we haven't really played together as a team before inside of this. Y'all are new board members. We're a new team, blah, blah, blah. So let me tell you how we like to function around here.
Okay, so we have this leader who has this situation. What are the specific next steps? You've outlined the honesty policy. What do they need to do next?
The reason why I'm doing that is because you have to lay a foundational principle to change culture. Because if this person's continue to do that, that means it's still a cultural thing.
Probably.
That they're not, it's probably a culture.
Probably
if it's
a cultural
not,
thing.
they're not playing within the culture, okay?
Yes.
But a lot of times you got to set the stage, the foundation of the principle across the board. And by the way, I didn't just start it that way. We did it every year. How many times have you signed an honesty policy?
I've
How many
signed a
times
lot
have
of
you?
them, yeah.
We do it over and over.
Because I've signed them in a lot of rooms. Every
Here's
room
the
that I've
deal.
ever
I'm
been in, we
we're
signed.
re-upping. We're
Yeah,
re-upping.
that's right.
We're re-upping. I am committing again, no gossip. I am committing again to speak the truth in love.
It's for us
and
too.
I
Yeah,
sign
you're
it
committing.
every
Yeah,
time.
I
I'm
like that.
committing it to you too. I'm not going to go gossip.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
you're
come
going
talk
to
to
set
you.
the foundation.
So we're setting
with
it up.
this.
Somebody gossips. Somebody says something half true. Somebody says something that's out of turn that we feel. So then we call them in and say, okay, listen, I need to have an honesty policy with you. I may have heard this wrong. Somebody may have said it wrong. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You signed honesty policy that we didn't have no gossip. We're not going to do this. Here's what was told to me that was said. Did you say this? Did this happen?
Yeah.
So I'm not coming and saying, you can't do this. I'm saying, explain what happened or
What
or
if
how
it's
this
like
happened.
that's somebody like I'm super close to, like we just vent to each other. Like I'm just venting.
Yeah. And I'm saying venting is another word for gossip.
Can
If
be, for
it's
sure.
to the right, if it's to the wrong person who's not involved. Venting, if you need to vent, there's a counselor you can go see. I guess you could talk to your spouse about what it is, but remember, venting is about your perspective. It can only be that you're continuing to say how you see it instead of coming to a person that's involved in it and asking, could we clarify?
I love what the Tom used to say. If you talk about people to God, you grow to love them. If you talk about people to people, you grow to hate them. And that was
Tom's my dad.
Yeah, the Tom's your dad. That was meaningful for me because, there may be some humans that you need to vent to, but I would also recommend that you got to get in the prayer closet and go, God, here's the situation, and this is what I think I heard or what I'm feeling.
This
and
is a
sensing, and
double
let's see what
click.
God wants to do.
But I've seen y'all have to deal with this multiple times. How do you handle it with this person's going home and venting again to their spouse, but the spouse is the gossip?
Yeah,
That happens all the time.
It's on you. It's on you. If your spouse cannot
Can't
handle
handle
the
it.
information,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big one.
then you can't share it with them in that way because it's on you. Okay. So you are one flesh. The Bible says you are one. And so I don't have a problem with you going home and saying, I'm frustrated with this. To say, this is what they did. You just always need to preface it. And I know if we don't get mature, then we're not able to say, hey, this is my perspective. Even if I talk to Jenny, I have to say, hey, this is how I feel like it went. I'm going to need to talk to them tomorrow. Can you be praying with me on it? It's not, I get to free flow dump and do toxic stuff in my marriage. Why would you do that to your kids, to your marriage?
Tell them about with you and Mom when y'all were first married and she would talk to her mom.
Yeah, well, what would happen is when we first got married, Jenny and I may have an argument, okay? We would have a disagreement, whatever, and she would be frustrated, and it just so happened maybe her mom called, and she goes, hey, how are you doing? I'm fine, yeah. Well, what's wrong? Scott and I just had a frustrating argument. What happened? And then she would say it, and it would be like, I can't believe he did that. You know, like Mom would be like, oh, God, that's so frustrating. And then I would,
which then Mom would be, as a mom, you're defending
your daughter,
and it's all the information.
And it's also, it's the only, she wasn't there in the argument. She doesn't know both sides, all that. So then an hour later, Jenny and I are cool, and we talk about it and go, hey, she'll go, hey, I do realize now I was part of that. And I'll go, yeah, me too. Sorry. Kiss and make up. We're hugging. And then we go to dinner with them, and I can tell Mom's mad at me. You know,
she never did the reconciliation call.
She never called. And doesn't that happen all the time?
All the time.
Anybody who's listening to this right now and you're going, well, I'm just talking, whatever. Just realize every time you're talking, you're planting seeds. And if you're planting seeds that are negative, they're seeds of discord. Let me tell you what you can't get back. Seeds. You throw out seeds, no matter what.
It then becomes a confirmation bias that they're now looking for. They did it again.
Yes.
They did it again.
Yes, but watch this. Even if I later realize I was wrong, if I'm gossiping, if I'm sowing seeds of discord, and then I realize, oh man, I now see that was really on me. I can't go pick up all the seeds.
You don't even know where the seeds have landed because it's like throwing them to the wind. They're everywhere.
This is why Matthew 18:15 says don't do that because you can get it right. And if you're doing seeds, if you're gossiping, guess what you're doing? You're becoming a divisive person. And the scripture says, mark the divisive person among you.
Yeah.
And now I know right now somebody's got, oh my God, you're going to mark me. You're going to know what it is saying, talk to the divisive person. If they continue to sow seeds of discord, you have to remove them from leadership.
Because they can't handle they can't handle the big information. That's where a lot of times I see you get paid the big bucks because you can handle that level of information. Yeah. You can actually carry that and still and not get tainted. You can actually carry that and still love God's kingdom, love his people, and help people move forward.
Watch this. Do you know what maturity is when it comes to this thing? It has to do with I can handle like, let's say y'all are in an argument and y'all are both my friends or whatever, and you're in a deal. Well, now y'all are both looking at me like I got to take sides. Whose side I'm going to take? I'm going to say, no. You guys work that out because listen, I can love him and I can love you.
Yes.
Right.
And I can have both perspectives of love and care for you and not take sides on. There's a maturity on that. But what happens in staff is many times people are going like, hey, I need you to get against them. And so now we're going to team. You can't do it. You've got to say, go get it right. And here's what I would say. On the honesty policy, I would teach the staff and the board to say this. If that person gossips to you, you need to say, hey, you need to go talk to Pastor or you need to go talk to Hunter
I know
about
they would,
that.
I know they would want to hear that.
So when are you going to talk to him? Well, I mean, I don't know if okay, here's the deal. I'm going to go tell him you need to talk to him. This is how you shut it down. You don't just have honesty policy that says we're not going to tolerate gossip. Everybody's having an honesty policy that says if I hear gossip, I'm telling them they need to go talk to them. And if they don't go talk to them, I'm going to go help them to understand they need to talk to you.
That's when the 45-minute meetings with you turned into a 5-minute meeting when they would be like, hey, thanks for having our one-on-one and setting up this call. You need to go talk to Steven because Steven's doing this thing. And you'd be like, wow, when are you going to go talk to Steven about that?
Yeah. I'd always pitch it back to them and say something like, hey, because I would give them a chance most of the time. Hey, why don't I give you 24 hours and then can you let me know that you and Steven have talked or y'all set up the meeting? And then if I didn't hear back in 24 hours, then I'm saying, hey, Steven, did Bob set up a meeting with you yet? So then, because I want to get the ball rolling.
Correct. Then what will happen is that person may go, well, they're not going to listen to me. Okay, well then bring Steven in and I'll listen to you guys together. Yeah. That's Matthew 18:15. Go to them first. If they listen and you get it together, you have won your brother over.
Win,
if not, Call in someone who can mediate,
Yep.
someone who can help. If that doesn't work, then you go to arbitration. It's literally what it's saying. Call in the elders and they'll make a decision on it. Mediation is you and who'd you say they were, Stephen?
Stephen.
You and Hunter and Stephen, y'all talk. Oh, they didn't listen. Okay, bring it in. We'll mediate. If that didn't work, okay, then we're going to make a decision on it. You're wrong. You're wrong. Here's how we're going to get it right. Or you're wrong. You're right. You're going to deal with it. Whatever it is, it's arbitrary. They're going to make a decision. If they don't listen to that, then you treat them as a tax collector or senator, which doesn't mean you hate them. How did Jesus function on that? Well, if they're not going to listen to you on the correction, you may not be able to be in leadership, but I still love you. And I still care about you.
So inside of this, if you haven't set up the culture piece of an honesty policy, I would probably do it after this initial conversation. So you can't go into this and be like, hey, you know how we function around here, honesty policy, because you haven't set up that culture piece yet. So we just did an episode on having a performance improvement plan that gives a framework of the 6 C's of how to have this conversation of this is no longer tolerated, and let's get clear on what it is to have an expectation of zero tolerance gossip. After that gets settled, you should probably set up the honesty policy as a culture piece if it isn't already.
You may need to say, hey, if it isn't a cultural piece, I wouldn't hesitate. You could do it coincide in the sense of this. I'm going to have a conversation with you and say, by the way, I'm going to make this clear because this isn't just about you. It's for all of us.
Great.
So in our next staff meeting, I am going to have a discussion on what I'm talking to you about right now. I won't bring you into it.
Great.
I'm going to bring it in as how we function because I think this is very important culturally for us. But I am telling you, I need to know right now that when I bring that, you're going to be able to sign it. Okay, like this. You
That's
get it?
great.
Okay. Now, let's say that I called. So if this happened, Pastor, whoever wrote this, gentleman, Pastor, this is what you do. Call the person in. Have the conversation with them, whether it is you already have the honesty policy or if you don't, you just talk that. And then you look at them and say, listen, is there anything you need to talk to me about besides this? Clear it out. Let's clear it out. What if there's that you're frustrated about, anything you got a question about?
You tell me anything.
Talk to me. Now what happens though is sometimes people go like, okay, I'm going to let you have it. Okay, let me have it in love. To the last 10%, please. That doesn't mean because you don't like something now as a lead pastor, I've got to change everything to come into agreement with you. It is that you've been able to share your concerns, your fear, and now I've been able to share back with you where we're at, or where I'm at on that. If I need to confess it, or I need to say, hey man, I did do that wrong, and get it right. Get it right. Do it.
But we're just getting this stuff out now.
Yes.
Let's get it out.
But I'm telling you, no play. No play, zero tolerance on gossip. That is teaming up with the enemy. That's sin, and it's destructive.
Yeah.
This is constructive. We can do something here on this because here's the thing I say on the honesty policy all the time. This is my biblical. Every single time we do it, I'll go, hey, now listen. Jesus said he's going to build his church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. We will be a prevailing church because we're in alignment with him. So as long as we keep things clean here, that I'm doing everything he wants us to do. You're doing everything. We're all Ephesians 4 unity. He's the head. We're one body united together with him. As long as we do that, and as long as we keep things Matthew 18:15 here, where we're clean here in relationship, no gossip, no division, we're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Our job isn't to make the win. He makes the win. He's the one who causes us to prevail. Our job is to stay in unity with clean hearts with him and unity and clean hearts with each other.
Good.
That's why this is so important. Because
So
the
important.
enemy cannot defeat us head on. He only can defeat us if he gets us divided.
Yeah.
That's why this is so important. You're important to me. The Lord's church is important to me, and us be in alignment with him. If it happens again, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Are we clear? Yes. Okay. It happens again. They come in and you have one of two options. HR is sitting here no matter what. On
So
this
you're
one.
saying, and if it's a smaller organization that doesn't have an HR director, you would want to have one of the elders. We've
Correct.
often done that.
First
or
of all,
board
the
member.
first conversation I had on that, if it's a female, I have somebody else in here anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not having a conversation with a female on staff. I don't care who it is, without my executive, without another person that's sitting here, whether it's and you say, well, I don't have any of that stuff. Then a board member, okay? And we're having that conversation. If it happens again, it comes in and I'll say, hey, talk to me about what happened. I always start with giving them the benefit of the doubt that I heard this wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, again,
Such a good posture.
We've had that. I am hearing this, or I got reported this. It's so hard for me to believe that this happened because we're
so clear.
We're so clear. But did this happen?
Which goes back to our first C of confession of like,
Just talk to me.
Yep. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on.
Talk to me. Maybe I'm not seeing it or understanding.
Do you understand? This is what you, yes, I did. I said it. You don't understand. Blah, blah, blah. I said, no, what I understand is if you did do this, that is gossip. That is, you're speaking negatively about leadership and speaking words, sowing seeds of division and discord. So we can't do that. This is going to go in your file. So you have one or two things you can do. We're going to release you because we've already talked about this, and this is a releasable offense. You first of all got to know on honesty policy. You're saying, hey, this is zero tolerance, which means it's not going to be tolerated.
Yeah. So you have to not tolerate
zero tolerance, no tolerance. Yeah. We don't tolerate it.
So it's either this could be a dismissal or
it could be like, hey, this is going to go in your file. And we're on a probation, which basically means we're going to function in a way that you understand now. If there is another time of you speaking divisive ways, we will release you. Our board members here, our HR persons here, it's going in the file. Really big, you need to know, is this clear? Do you understand why? Talk to me. Tell me why this is such a big deal. Let them speak because the enemy wants to destroy, because blah, 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 blah. If they just say, I don't think it's a big deal, I think you're making it a bigger deal than it is. Okay. Thank you for saying that, because that's helping, it's revealing. It's helping me to understand we're not on the same page here of how important this is.
Yeah. And
then that's where you might say, if you don't agree, then you need to step down. I mean, you have to deal with this. I'll tell you, the moment you deal with someone that gossip is a severance level issue, that means you have now established culture that is for real.
By the way, the culture will get in alignment very quickly.
You get it?
You walk the walk.
This ever happens.
Warning. Yeah. We don't. But you let it happen.
Yeah.
Your culture is not you know what culture is established by? By what we tolerate.
Yep.
Culture is set by what we tolerate, not by what we say. If you tolerate it, then you're saying this is the ideal, but it's still okay.
Yeah.
So that's how I would handle this.
Okay, so closing thoughts on this and moving this forward.
Yeah, I would just want to rewind a little bit of what you were saying of like, all right, this is your chance. You can tell me anything inside of this. I've seen you do this 100 times and leading this. I would say 99% of the time people say I'm good when you do it. And then you ask again if you can see it on their face.
Over and over.
I think it's the second time. If you are sensing like, no, I know there's something in there, I would ask it again.
Okay, let me show you right now. So
and do verbal because they can't see.
What I will do is I'll take my fingers, like 2 fingers, like I'm doing, like, I say, I got my eye on you. You know, somebody does that and they're doing is what I'm saying is I'll look them in the eye. I say, hey, look me in the eye. Each person, I'll just say, hey, let's look at each other in the eye. Is there anything we need to talk about? Good, bad, or indifferent? Anything you got? Anything you want to talk about or ask?
No, I'm good.
Okay. If they look at me and they say they're good and I can see it in their eye, because the eye is the window of the soul. That's what it's talking about. So when I'm doing that and they're looking at me and say, yeah, I'm good. Okay, that feels good. If they go, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Something like that, then I'm go, okay. That sounds like there is something. Do you need to talk to me right now? Or is this something you want to talk about right after the meeting?
Which is a lot better than saying, are you sure?
Yeah. No, I'll say is that I'm saying it sounds like there's something we need to talk about. Do you want to do that now, or are you just saying you want to talk about it after the meeting?
Yeah.
See, what I'm doing is I'm calling it out. And they'll go, no, there really isn't anything. Okay, let's talk after the meeting. Anything right here? You get it?
And I've seen that one a number of times.
You
too.
get it?
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is
that what you just did is way more common than if I open this up, they're going to explode on me.
Well, first of all, somebody's going to test it sometime. when I did this and introduced it, it probably went 4 months that everybody said, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And then all of a sudden somebody said, I'm not good. And they said something that was pretty hurtful to my heart. And basically I think I've said it before, but they said, hey, when the anointing's low, the volume's high when you preach, like you're yelling. And so I had to bite my tongue a bit there and just go like, oh gosh, that's pretty, man, that's hurtful, but I had to go, okay, is there truth? And I said, listen, as I think about it, there is some truth there. Let's talk about it. And so I did. And I said, I'm going to try to do better on that. Here's the thing. If you do not demonstrate what it's like to hear the truth in love and to be willing to listen to it as if I might have a blind spot, deaf spot, or dumb spot in that deal, then you're not modeling for them how they should be receiving truth when you give it to them.
It's really good, man.
So if I don't agree, like if I know flat out this is wrong, like they're telling me something and I didn't say that, like, hey, I hear you, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about this, but I want everybody to know right now, I didn't say that. That isn't what happened. Well, you did this to that person. Okay, first of all, let's talk. Let me share what happened with that person. Let me share. And so many times it was they didn't have the whole story. Yeah, they didn't have all the information. Yeah.
But the principle here is that if they are saying something, it is very wise of you to stay calm.
Stay calm and say, "I'm so First of all, I always start with, Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for trusting me that you would even ask me that.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, let's talk. And if they did it openly with everybody, I probably need to handle it openly because now somebody else is going, if they didn't know about it, now they want to know about it. If they don't, like this, and I'll share.
Thank you's kind because they're entering into the scary zone of the last 10%. So you're thanking them for entering into that zone.
Yeah. And guess what I'm doing every time I'm doing it? No matter how hard it is for me to hear it, I am sowing seeds into trust that when I talk to them, they're going to be at a place, well, man, I did it to him and he listened. I need to listen too.
That's really good. Really good.
I'm modeling, because listen, when we're signing honesty policy, no gossip, what I'm doing is two things. I'm inviting you to talk to me, but I'm also asking you to invite me into talking to you.
It's permission giving and permission granting and receiving. Okay, final thought.
No, that was good.
You got to deal with it.
Just got to deal with it.
Deal with it.
I think no matter what you have, it doesn't
in the
get
book
fixed.
I wrote on Steering Through Chaos, the thing I said is you got to deal with the dirt, D-I-R-T. Don't ignore relational tension.
And with that bomb, we're closing today. Thank you for joining us here today on the Breaking 1000 podcast. If you have a topic like our friend and you want us to tee that up, just shoot us an email at hey@readysetgrow.church, and we'll see you soon.